Hello everybody, my name is Ekay, you're watching Ekay Tech, and welcome back to another episode of Ekay Thoughts. Now, I haven't done one of these in a while. I only tend to do these when I have a subject that I want to talk about, and I do have a subject that I have had in my mind for years that I wanted to in some form express in a sort of video, and it is the mentality that is recently become more and more popular apparently, where people seem to always give up and surrender rather quickly. And I wanted to talk about why I believe that is the case and why specifically that has been the case in most recent years. So first of all, let's talk about the thing that really got me to think about this. I am a person who really loves playing competitive games. I love myself some League of Legends. I have played a bit of Overwatch. I love watching other esports as well, even though I don't play them specifically. I don't really play CSGO and the likes of that. But I do oftentimes just go ahead and watch a couple of things because I like the competitive scene. And whenever I play a game, I always try and seek the most competitive game mode and then, invest my time in there. So I'm very much competition driven. And one thing I've noticed in those games is that it's very common for people to simply surrender when things get tough. And in today's video, I kind of want to talk about why I think that might be the case and why specifically, like I mentioned before, it's something that has risen to popularity more recently. Now, I think it has to do with the following thing. We as a society have changed the emphasis we put on winning something. In the past, the system that we used was this would be the level of appreciation for not participating. This would be participating. This would be getting like top 3 or something. And then this would be first place. It's probably even above the camera, but it's just to make a point, so that doesn't really matter. And I feel like what it has changed into, and I think that's mainly the problem here, is it's not participating, participating, third place, first place. So I feel like the emphasis has shifted way more towards participating in something as opposed to actually winning something. Now, a lot of people are calling millennials, as most people call them. I'm sort of part of them. I'm 24 right now, so I was born in 1995. I mean, I was born just before the millennial phase started. Well, I consider myself to be in a lot of aspects very much still a millennial because I was 5 years old when this millennium started. So I think I'm really still part of it. But a lot of people have talked about this generation specifically, and a lot of people have actually mentioned that there is a big shift from putting emphasis on winning something and putting emphasis on just participating in something, and people value participation a whole lot more than winning these days. It's still, of course, winning is still better than participating, but the gap between participating and winning is just, it has shifted. Like participating goes up and up and up and up and up in appreciation, while winning stays about the same, which means that there's just less emphasis on the gap between winning and participating. So we seem to live in a society right now where if you participate in an activity and you don't win, it's like, it's okay, you still get a trophy, you still get a medal, you still get whatever gratification you can get from it. The sense of achievement is thus very high, because in the past people were like, you participated but you didn't win. Well, what is the point, if you don't win? And these days people give you a pat on the back, give you a medal, give you the prize, and you get a dose of satisfaction from that fact. And I feel like that is something that makes it so that people don't really push to win anymore. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it happens a lot in online games as well, and I'm going to specifically talk about League of Legends because that is just the game that I am personally most familiar with, so I feel like I can give the best idea of what is happening there. And what it is people tend to give up very quickly. So people, let's say they fall behind very early on. I'm going to keep it as broad as possible, so even people who don't play the game will very much understand what I'm talking about. So let's say someone falls behind just marginally and their win percentage drops from 50%. Let's just assume both teams are pretty much equal, which is what a ranked system should always try and strive for. So let's say it's a 50-50 chance of both teams winning, and it shifts to 60-40 or maybe even 70-30. And what a lot of people at that point start doing is they are like, okay, actually going for the win now will require me to put in effort. And I'm already participating, so why would I go the extra mile? Why would I go into it and actually try and win when participation will also be gratifying for me because I just like participating. And I feel like that's just something that is missing, and that is something that I personally can't understand. I can't understand the mindset of not wanting to win something. When I play a competitive game, for example, League of Legends, but also Overwatch, but also Guild Wars 2 PvP, but also whatever competitive thing I am doing, I want to win. And I have a specific drive where even if my chance shifts from 50% to 5%, I want to win. But because the lower my chance of winning, the more effort it requires me to get the win, the more satisfying the win will in the end be. And I am just chasing the satisfaction of winning, while I feel other people are chasing the satisfaction of participating. And I feel as though that is the gap that has been created due to the whole participation societal structure that we live in these days. Now, a lot of people, of course, raise the counter arguments, and they will be like, well, I mean, I could play 4 games a day, and if I finish them all, tried my hardest, then I can play 4 games a day. Let's say I lose 1 more than I would otherwise lose, so let's say we go 3-1. Let's say we go 2-2, okay? Just for sake of comparison. But some other people may be like, okay, but then what if I just give up the games that are likely to be lost and be time efficient? Because that means that I can play another 1, 2, 3 games in a day, and I have a better shot at winning those, thus I will climb faster. And while it is very much factually correct, I mean, I'm not going to be trying to say that trying to win every game is the best way of climbing in a game, because if you want to climb in a game, you can just look at statistics and be like, okay, if I only have 3 games in a day and I can push that up to 5 games in a day, and I generally win 55% of my games, then the more games I play, the more I win. So the more I climb. So that is very much a valid point. But what I don't understand, and this is where the gap between me and a lot of other people seems to be, is I don't understand how they can have a mindset where they don't want to win. I can't understand surrendering, honestly. When I play a game, it's like, if I surrender, I feel like I might as well have not played that game. I feel no satisfaction from it at all. And I feel like there's a gap between me and a person who does feel satisfaction from just participating. And that is something I'm just trying to get my head around it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy playing it. But for me, there's a very distinct satisfaction I get from trying to win, from doing my very best to crawl out of a hole and climb my way back up. And that is where my satisfaction from playing a game comes from. Trying my hardest to win. So I'm having fun while I'm trying to win. But the moment I stop trying to win, the moment I'm like, well, my chances are, I have 30% chance to win. It's a bit lower than to be expected. You know what? Let's just surrender. At that point, I've thrown trying to win out of the window, and the past 20, 30 minutes or whatever time I have already invested in the game is just gone for me. And that is sort of the point of this video. And I want to, of course, clarify, I am not a psychologist or someone who is very much studied in human physiology or human brain activity or emotions specifically. I'm just a guy who considers himself to be analytically pretty decent, and I'm trying to break down why I believe that this climb in giving up. Sorry, I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to say there. But where this climb in people giving up comes from. And all in all, I think it really comes down to the generation where we just give up quickly. You're not going to go to your job and you're doing something, and halfway through you're like, I'm going to stop. because you're working towards a goal, because you know that the only way you're going to get paid is if you make that goal. And the only way I'm going to get satisfied is if I win that game. And of course, this isn't just about gaming. I just use gaming as an example because it's the most competitive environment that I have lived in, to speak it that way. But it also goes for sports. It goes for football. It goes for soccer, as you guys call it, of course. Some people like to call it soccer. It goes for any other sport, whether it be something a bit more casual, let's say golfing, which you can still win, of course, but it's a bit more laid back generally, apart from the top end, of course. Fighting sport, whatever it is, once you get knocked down, you want to climb back up. And I feel as though I might be in a minority here. And yes, I know I'm opening up a can of worms by telling you guys this. I know it's a video where a lot of people will come bitching at me like, man, you're that one annoying dude who always presses no when I want to surrender in my games. And you don't care about getting more league points quicker in a statistical manner. And to that I can only say, I enjoy winning, don't you? Thank you very much for watching, guys. I think I've spoken about pretty much everything that I have wanted to speak about. A lot of other stuff will probably pop into my mind in a bit, but I'm going to be cutting the video here. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope I've just given you some food for thought, because that's all I wanted to do. And have a nice day, guys. I will see you around.